So, I wanted to ask you. I can't remember what. There's a lot about the Gadianton Robbers I would love to discuss, but what specifically did you bring up about the Gadianton Robbers that you wanted to bring up? Because do you remember?
I don't, but there was something that happened this week that was just I've been kind of fuming about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let's jump into that. So you said something happened this week. So what was the thing that happened this week that was like?
Uh, the Joe Biden special counsel investigation conclusion. Dude, I about punched a hole in the wall.
Okay. So for those listening who aren't sure what that is, give us an overview.
Okay, so probably about I think it was maybe last year. This whole thing started coming about with classified documents in Joe Biden's garage and all this kind of stuff, right? So, um, yeah, so Trump gets indicted and all this stuff. Everyone's throwing the book at him, all everything. You know, so it happens to Joe Biden, and there's a year and a half long investigation or something like that. And they're like, well, yeah, he's definitely in the wrong, but because he's so old and senile, he's just he has memory lapses and he's such a just the gentle old man who forgot. We're not going to charge him with anything. First off, they're just the first thing was first for me was number one, Trump was the president. He has presidential not immunity, but he has presidential privileges to classified documents. Joe Biden does not because he was a senator and a vice president. They don't get those same privileges.
Yeah.
And these are documents dating back to you know, his entire time in the government, not just when he was vice president, but before that. These are documents he is not supposed to have. And he's had these just sitting around everywhere in his Delaware home for years, next to his Corvette it's okay because it was in a locked garage. It's like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Meanwhile, Trump's stuff was locked up in rooms, in safes, in his house. But, and then you can even take this back to Hillary Clinton's mishandling of classified information. Where she
You want me to wipe it clean, like with a cloth?
Yeah, no, that's not what bleach bit is. And then they take literal hammers and smash the hard drives. But anyway, so just those three incidents here. Clinton, who obstructed justice, obstructed investigations, right? She gets off with what did they say about that one?
Yeah, wasn't Comey? He had said that she did break the law. Basically, what he said was she broke the law. She did do wrong. However, I don't think she intentionally did so. So I recommend no punishment.
Yeah, like they specifically worded it to avoid the legal.
Well, the thing is that no, it doesn't matter if she intended to or not. That she broke the law. If I didn't intend to run over that pedestrian, so do I not get to go to prison now? It's like, no, you go to prison. But I didn't intend to.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I just smashed it with a hammer and had people purposely delete files from my, email server that I wasn't supposed to have.
And kept my email server open for people from outside countries to obtain information from. I didn't mean to run him over. I may have backed up and forward and back again a couple times on him, but I didn't.
Yeah, and then while I was parked on him, I turned the wheel a few times. Oh my gosh, man! And then Trump is just, they raid his home with SWAT, FBI, it wouldn't have surprised me if they went literally like guns blazing, freaking. It's like,
you mean like Hot Shots Part 2?
Yeah, and then you get this week with Biden. It's like, yeah, he clearly broke the law, shouldn't have had these documents, but because he's an old, frail man and he's, a nice man, the Uncle Joe that everybody, just a nice, good old Uncle Joe that everyone elected. Nothing's gonna happen to him because he's basically gonna be, doesn't matter now because he's so old.
It's like, okay,
what are you talking about, man? That is beyond beyond ridiculous. Dude, that stuff was just driving me nuts because it just clearly shows, not just the whole, two-tier justice system or whatever you want to call it, but just the clear corruption of a Department of Justice that's clearly going after one side and not the other, president or not.
So, Ryan, I'm really not following here, man. Why would you bring this up when we're trying to talk about Gadianton Robbers? It just sounds like you're trying to nitpick about like one particular political viewpoint that you're pushing on us.
Well, that's probably because one certain political viewpoint seems to be taking from everyone, giving to someone else, enriching themselves, not applying justice equally, as well as manipulating government officials, manipulating government powers in order to get their way. And it just seems to draw a lot of conclusions to, or a lot of similarities to the Gadianton Robbers and their secret combinations of, this and that, all kinds of shenanigans that they try to do to usurp government powers, the judges and all of that. So kind of seems relevant to today's world.
Let's go back to kind of the beginning of Gadianton Robbers and why does it matter, right? Like this is a phrase Latter-day Saints know. The rest of the world doesn't really know, which is really, really dang sad because even if you are a Christian, you're listening to this, or if I could tell the Christian world, like even if you don't believe the Book of Mormon is true, which you probably don't, at least read it to get an idea on how to be a little more savvy about how Satan is controlling the hearts of men all over the world in government. Yeah. Right? Like you can say it's written by the devil, but the devil called himself out really good in this.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But this is what's fascinating is I believe it was Moroni discusses how the start of the Gadianton Robbers began. When I say Gadianton Robbers, what I do mean is I'm encompassing that and the phrase secret combinations, because Gadianton Robbers is the secret society that perpetuates secret combinations. So you go back far enough, the Book of Mormon describes how secret combinations started with Cain and Abel. Now, Ryan, how would you define secret combinations?
To me, I would think of, plotting, conniving, making some kind of premeditated plan to act on something in order to gain power or to harm others. Something done, obviously in secret, but, behind in the shadows in order for the right opportune moment.
Yeah, to gain, and like you said, to gain something, right? They don't want to do it for no stupid reason. They want a certain outcome, and the outcome is always that they can gain more power, gain more riches.
To some degree, I would even throw in the term, it's a form of terrorism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To gain political, especially in our context right now, but to gain political power, which most of the time I would probably say is the purpose of secret combinations, or the political realm is usually where you're going to see a lot of these secret combinations, I should say. So.
Yeah, you're right. And also, I don't want to limit our view to it being all about like it's secret combination if you can get gained from it, because there are actions that Gadianton Robbers, secret combination type individuals do that don't necessarily, it's not about the immediately resulting in gain. For example, it is said that these people have been the ones who kill the prophets throughout the ages, right? And why? Well, because we live in such a secular world that we completely disassociate the spiritual from the literal. However, we know, especially from the restored gospel, that all things are created spiritually before they're created, physically, temporally, and that the spiritual and the temporal are intertwined. They cannot be separated, right? And so it's funny because we live in a day where Satan is so crafty. We've bought into this concept that you can have certain evils with no devil. But back in the old days, right? Even the ancient societies, they knew who they were working for. Let's go worship Baal and Gog, Magog, and it's like let's do this. Like we know exactly who we're working for because they didn't separate the spiritual from the physical world. Yeah. They knew that there were forces at play, and those who kill the prophets, those who try to put asunder righteousness and truth. That is part of the playbook of Gadianton Robbers of those who participate in secret combinations. And I mean, yes, in a roundabout way, by doing so, they do gain more. What do they gain more? More control, because they can never truly have control over the hearts of the children of men if there is truth in people's hearts, right? If their hearts if their hearts are attached to God, they cannot be put asunder properly.
Just like who? Captain Moroni.
So for those of you who listen to this and haven't watched the Captain Moroni stuff, go listen to that, man. Listen to the Captain Moroni.
A couple of episodes we'll probably make out of that one.
Oh, so good. So good. Yeah. So Cain and Abel, right? It started with Cain. And we know that Cain killed his brother Abel. And it's not like, well, it's jealous of the dude. Like he had a better sacrifice. Well, actually, he made a pact with the devil, right? He made a pact with the devil that he would do this, and he became, oh gosh, what do they say? Like when he did all this and he killed his brother, they call him Mayhem, or what was his name called?
I don't remember, dude.
Yeah, I'm totally blanking. However, the point is, that's when it really began, and for people to seek gain over godliness is a form of playing in the clutches of secret combinations and Gadianton Robbers. Now that's playing in their clutches. Whether or not you really are one of those, I think that would come down to is, well, what is now your life's purpose? What is your goal? What do you put all your effort and time into doing? Right? Because someone can say, I'm not a Christian, but yet they read the Bible and preach of Christ and do all these things. It's like, you're a Christian. But I don't really believe in that, man. Well, it's like, okay, so if you vote for communism or socialistic practices, you are, and I'm not trying to just pick on certain types of Latter-day Saints and Christians. I really mean this. You are supporting Gadianton Robbers and the secret combinations. Why would I say that? Let me explain something to you. So there's a quote by Ezra Taft Benson, and actually you should read it. I sent it to you.
You did send it to me. Okay. President Benson says, this is a general conference in what, 1968 it says?
68. Yep, 68.
A secret combination that seeks to overthrow the freedom of all lands, nations, and countries is increasing its evil influence and control over America and the entire world.
What? Okay. Oh man, there was like a certain type of political practice government that has tried to spread throughout the world, and it was so dangerous. We tried stopping it in a Cold War and a Korean and a Vietnam War. What is it called, man?
Wasn't there a big old country called the USSR or something like that?
No, see that's not true, because that's USSR. That's not United Communist States of Russia. That's USSR. Oh, what does that S stand for?
Something
like,
the societal social. I don't remember.
Seriously though, that's he describes it right there. I'm like, that's communism, straight up communism.
Yeah.
And then how do you get communism? Well, you always get communism by first implementing socialism. Socialism starts off as this grand idea guys, instead of relying upon people to choose to be righteous, we can force righteousness on everyone. No, it'll be poor. I'll steal from you. Give it to him. But don't worry, we'll still let you own your business and choose to do so. We're just going to really force you to do so. And eventually the government steps in because it says, you're not righteous enough, so we're going to own everything now.
That really sounds like something in the creation, the premortal existence. I swear I heard something like that in the premortal existence, and
Dude, I don't like how you're piecing together things in the gospel that were never meant to piece together. Like this is taking it too far. You're like, okay, you're putting things together that just make a certain political side sound bad.
I should probably check my privilege.
You check your privilege. You are a bigot, but how do you? Okay, but in all seriousness, though, how do Latter-day Saints not make those connections? A lot. I've met plenty who do, but by the evidence of Latter-day Saints who are now becoming, lefties, it's like it's very clear you don't see this connection.
It's the misconstruing the idea of we all need to love one another and take care of each other, and that we all just need to be free to make whatever choices we want and to love each other for those choices. It's the total screw up of those thoughts. It's gone off the rails big time.
It is, and I was hoping to say this for a future episode, but I'm not doing it. Screw it, we're doing this. Okay, so you say that, right? And
well, because it's
I'm trying to say
this is where the one side really plays. They pull the heartstrings, right? They're like, it's the feel good ideas, it's the feel good policies, where in actual practice and reality, they don't work, right? Just all of the Marxist revolutions, the Leninist revolutions in Russia, communism, socialism, whatever you want to call it, everything that just basically points to, I take from you and share with others, but nobody's happy.
Well, so think about this.
Force you to be happy.
Let me put it in other words. Their approach to this is, and what's appealing is, we are going to take the risk out of life. Let's take the risk out of this.
Yeah, because life sucks, man. Life's scary, dude.
Life does suck, right? And then especially nowadays, but they did it back with Nazis and communists too. They did it from this approach of like, well, it's because this is how we show that we really care about our fellow man, our fellow comrade, our citizens. Now let me take it back a step. A couple eons ago, before this life, there was a man, and he said, I don't like this plan Heavenly Father gave. I've got a better idea. I'm going to take the risk out of life. And my plan is that no one's going to be able to make a wrong decision, because that's bad. Because if you make wrong decisions, you could not make it back. Like, how horrible is that? How horrible is it that some of us won't make it back? And that people in the audience going, yeah, man, I think he's right. Like, that would suck. Yeah, it's like, I take the risk out of this. All of you will all be saved. 100% of you. None of you will make a wrong choice. But I'm going to be God. Right? And I know this for certain because our current day is a type of what took place before. And I'm certain that part of his approach to this was, and I love you. And this is how you show love unto your brothers and sisters here. Right? Yeah. And it pulls on those heartstrings being like, yeah, why would I go with this riskier plan? Right? Like, why would we? And it's so funny. We can draw spiritual parallels, but let's come back to the real world parallels. In America, where there has always been risk, there has been greater rewards, far greater outcomes, the greater outcomes of character, of family stability and strength, community and nation stability and strength, prosperity, political stability and strength, right? The greatest the world has ever experienced. But then you go to Satan's version of the political spectrum, and what is it? It always compromised the family, always compromised prosperity, stability, everything. Like everything got compromised. And so you think about it this way. So if we know this literally, because those are historical facts, go back to the pre-earth life. And what was he really causing us to risk? Because of the Latter-day Saints, we know, well, he was going to take away our agencies. So if we didn't have agencies, we couldn't really progress and become like God. And that's the whole point of all this. We want to learn how to be like Heavenly Father. Yes, and that's a really good way of putting it, but some people don't grasp why that's so important. Well, say, okay, well, let's go to the opposite. If you do the opposite of what God's plan was, what do you end up sacrificing in the process? Eternal salvation, exaltation. You get none of that. And if you want to put it otherwise, we know as Latter-day Saints, exaltation and salvation is a family, is a family
family endeavor, a family
endeavor.
goal,
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's a family endeavor. We're meant to be saved as a family, as one giant eternal family, but also the families we create here. You would sacrifice the family, your future prosperity and power, stability, all that wonderfulness, right? It's like it's gone. Your chances for growth are gone. Yeah. And the greatest moving force in this world that's trying to implement that plan is through secret combinations. You get people who are willing to join the secret combinations because they have this heartstring pull. Right. I get it. I mean, yeah, it's like that's not true love. It's not true love.
And they don't even know that they're being pulled into this kind of stuff.
Yeah, they don't. But by the time they're knee deep in it, and you try to pull them out, they already go, no, you're the bigot, you're evil. Yeah. I love these people, therefore it's okay. There isn't like this is not a sin. They're born that way. It's like, well, I'm going to trust God because God loves them infinitesimally more than you, and I can show them I love them more by following God and trusting God, because it's that's not love, that's cruelty. Satan's love was not love, that was cruelty. So this is what's happening today. There's so much here, and I feel like what I love that we're doing here is we are taking the implicit side of all that we are taught in the scriptures, because unfortunately, just as religious people generally, and as human beings generally, we're always looking for explicit things. We want to be very clear. Say it directly. What are you saying, man? Right?
Yeah. What is it rather exactly that you want me to do or say? It's not how it works.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, like, and that's why God said, you can't be commanded in all things. You're slothful and unwise. Yeah, there are implicit things.
So here's where I would say there is a couple of very, very explicit things that he tells us to do. That is, there's, love God, love each other. But in order to find the answers and things like that, he specifically tells us to turn to him and to turn to Christ. He's not going to make us pray to him or whatever like that. But I guess that's the only instance I can think of where it's like, if you want this, you got to come to me. Even then, he's still not going to give it to you exactly how you want it. So.
Yeah, and he's not going to force it, right? So going back to Ether 8, you should open up while I'm rambling here. But Ether chapter 8, starting at verse 20. Some pretty good stuff here, actually. Oh man, so good. Verse 20. So he's already describing basically the Gadianton Robbers are now really setting up shop amongst the Jaredites. And verse 20. As we're reading along here, let's just talk about the things that really stand out, because there are some really particular points. He says, and now, I, Moroni, do not write the manner of their oaths and combinations, for it hath been made known unto me that they are had among all people, and they are had among the Lamanites. So he's like, okay, among all people, no one's safe from this. No one is safe from this. Yeah. And but Ryan, why is no one safe from this?
Well, what popped out in my head with that line was, this isn't anything new in human history.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what immediately pops into my head. You just think about any of the kingdoms, civilizations, 2,000, 3,000 or more years ago, everyone was taking advantage of each other. Everyone's making these weird deals to get this or get that. So this isn't anything new in the world. So that's what I think when I see that they are had among all people.
You're right. It's not new at all. And he even goes on to describe basically, because he said it's been shown unto him they're had among everyone. But then he becomes extra clear. He's like, no, I'm talking about your guys' day. You who are reading this. But I love how he's like, okay, so they're had among all people. That's because as much as God is omnipresent, right? So is Satan. Satan and his followers, the spirits that followed him, are everywhere trying to get at us, right? This is the time for us to show whom we will follow. But unfortunately, he gets to some people pretty good, and that's when they're like, "Hey, I'm willing to do whatever to get gain. I will take the life of another for this gain. I will lie. I will cheat. I will steal." And they count it as righteousness unto themselves, right? Once the Nephites became so evil and they were sacrificing Lamanite women and eating their flesh and raping them, it said, and they counted it as a token of bravery. It's like, oh yeah, and we often associate bravery with a form of righteousness, right? That's how you show how good you are. It's like, oh yeah, So I want to bring up this point, which is, if it's had among all people, and nowadays it's pretty rampant, then we have to accept one very important fact. That is, it is made appealing. We've already discussed how it's been made appealing in different ways, such as it's pulling on your heartstrings, pulls upon your desire to be compassionate. But it's also appealing in its presentation. So I'm in marketing, right? I'm a marketing guy. That's what I do. That's my expertise. And you'd be amazed how you can nudge people. You are nudging people into accepting ideas and concepts. Oh, this is a thing I want to have. I want to do. I'll buy it. Right? You nudge people all these directions. Right? Yeah. And there's a really, really good video that we're going to do a reaction to. But it has to. But okay. You know what? I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it now. Let's just do it now. If this gets botched, then I'll just remove it from here. But it's just so freaking good. Okay, this is us reacting to the plan. So this Babylon Bees, Planned Parenthood is going through a rebranding, and this is really applicable. So go for it, right?
All right, here we go and play.
As you all know, we have a bit of an image problem. The nation is still opposed to baby murder. We've tried everything, though. We had that Super Bowl blimp that said baby murder is cool. I like that one. We did the 2-for-1 portion sale. Brought in the wacky inflatable tube man.
Come to Planned Parenthood, your trusted source for baby murder.
I really thought that one was going to work.
People are
I paused. We're not laughing because we're sick individuals. We're laughing because it's ridiculous, right? Baby murder is not funny at all. But it's funny because they're finally saying exactly what it is, not masking it, right? There's no euphemism words here, which is like causes us to go like, oh my gosh. Sorry. I really thought that blimp would work. The blimp, they had the blimp for
Super Bowl blimp and the wacky inflatable flailing arm tube man. Oh, shoot. That's awesome.
Keep going.
Just trying to make money from baby murder. So we stop using the term baby murder. The obvious solution is
2 wacky inflatable tube men.
No, guys, right here. Tell me, what is something that everyone in the country supports and no one is against?
I want to say 3 wacky inflatable tube men, but I'm kind of feeling like that's not right. Definitely not right. It's stupid.
Cheddar Bay biscuits from Red Lobster.
Puppies.
USB 3.0.
Popping bubble wrap.
British accents, governor.
David Lynch's Dune.
Hawks.
Count Chocula. It's part of a complete breakfast.
Brown pepper packages tied up with kittens and mittens.
Video compilations of dudes getting hit in the nads.
No! Yes, of course, everyone likes all of those things, except David Lynch's Dune.
But the score was composed by Toto.
What makes sense as a possible rebrand for baby murder? I am proposing that we rebrand baby murder as women's health care.
Oh, pause it. Oh my gosh.
I don't know, Yolanda. Honestly,
Women healthcare.
I like where you're going, but
yeah. So like, I don't know if you know what we do here.
Well, I gotta pause it for a second just because I like the, so they got the screen in the background there and it says Planned Parenthood your one-stop shop for baby murder. And then they crossed out baby murder and put women's health care.
But it's so true, right? It's like, stop calling that. Let's call it women's healthcare. But now this guy is saying, I think that's a bit much, right?
Yeah, he's getting into the whole mansplaining thing that was hot for a while. All right, we'll keep going.
Right? But we literally go in there and rip the babies apart, limb from limb, and kill them. So I'm just not sure that really makes sense for the branding of women's health care. Yeah. It seems like a stretch.
That leads me to part 2 of my plan. All we need to do is continue to chant our new slogan. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. My body, my choice.
I hate to bring up a far-right pro-life argument here, but it's pretty clearly a baby. I mean, obviously not part of the woman's body. I know. Science.
And that is why we also rebrand baby as clump of cells. We just tell the women that it's like a parasite.
But I'm just not sure people are going to buy that kind of a lie.
People buy these kinds of blatant lies all the time. I mean, that whole fiery but mostly peaceful protest. We've got Hitler.
Love him.
The guy kills like 15 million people and calls it the final solution.
Those are rookie numbers for, compared to what we do.
Yeah, chump change. Hitler's got nothing on us.
Oh, one more thing, this is important. From this
goodness.
point forward, we never use the term baby in here again. We're going to use a dehumanizing term. Fetus.
Is that something that you just made up? What does it mean?
It means baby.
Okay, you can stop it. You can stop it there.
And they stop you.
It's terrible, right? It's it's like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what they had to do. And they're like, all right, so people don't like hearing one-stop shop for this, so
Murder.
let's call it women's health. And my body, my choice. I don't think people are gonna buy that. So
Well, clearly they are.
yeah, they're totally buying it, right?